Hello and welcome to PSM Speak. Thank you for clicking. Please subscribe to this channel to support me to get you more videos like this. Coming to today's topic, the pension to the Employees Provident Fund members. The Employees Provident Fund members and the pensioners were so excited when they saw the news that gave them impression that their pension amount going to be very high, a quantum jump in their pension. Some of them also were expecting that their pension was going to be equal to the government employees' pension. That pension of the government employees, which was allowed to them under the old pension scheme, to be clearer, equal to the half of what they had drawn when they were working. Suppose you are drawing a lakh rupees, 50,000 or something close to that as pension was the expectation. And there was any amount of justification in their excitement, because what the Employees Provident Fund pensioners had been getting or are getting now is peanuts. 83% of them are getting pension just 1,000 rupees a month. Yes, 1,000 rupees a month. It was still less than this amount. It was because of the compassion of the government that when it found as high as 83% of how many pensioners are there so far? 70 lakh pensioners. Of them, 83% were getting amounts less than 1,000 rupees. That looked very unfair to the government. Yes, 27% of them were getting even still lesser sum, like 500 rupees and less. So government felt it unjust and fixed minimum employees provident fund pension at 1,000 rupees. Why, even others also who had drawn 50,000 rupees, 1 lakh, even 2 lakh rupees. What is the pension we see some of them getting? Between 1,500 rupees to 2,500 rupees. Looks strange, but it was truth. They were getting pension less than the destitute pension. The destitute's pension or the social security pension to the old aged some of the governments are giving is even more than 2,500 rupees. Yes, in state government of Andhra, they are going to raise it above 3,000 rupees from next year. So that was the amount they were getting, and then they were really felt happy that they were going to get something more than what they are now getting, and some getting even pension on their full salary, 50% of last done salary. But is it true? Unfortunately, that's not. To get at the truth, what exactly happening, we need to go into the details of the Employees Provident Fund and Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1952, a brief history of that, and then the Employees Pension Scheme 1995, its offshoot and subsequent amendments to the pension scheme, and Employees Provident Fund Act 1952, and also the latest judgment of the Supreme Court. The 3 judges bench of the Supreme Court recently given its judgment on several issues taken up before it. Employees and even the Employees Provident Fund Organization and government appeal to in certain matters, and the court has given its judgment on this month, very recently, on 4th of November 2022. So looking at all these legislations, court judgment and the scheme amendments, what actually happening? Originally, when the Employees Provident Fund was established, that was in 1950. Although we are talking about the Act, Employees Provident Fund Act 1952, but the Provident Fund was put in place through an ordinance, which shows us the urgency and concern of the government of the day to bring in some benefit, a social security to the employees, those working in factories and other establishments. Originally, the Employees Provident Fund Act did not have provision for pension. It was only provident fund, collecting monthly contributions on the wages and allowances of employees and matching contributions from the employers, organizing a fund, investing the money, the interest or whatever earnings that are there on the fund given to the employees after their retirement on attaining 58 years of age, their superannuation. That was the scheme. It didn't have any provision for pension. The idea of pension came in 1970s. That was also not pension to the employees but family pension. Any pension, it is from 1995. Employees Provident Fund Scheme 1995, 16th November 1995. Till then, Employees Provident Fund Act did not have pension provision. And this pension, various types of pensions like early pension or widow pension, but chiefly the superannuation pension to the employees. That came in 1995. And then the details of the employees pension scheme that time was 8.33% of the employees' wages and allowances, whatever the permissible for under the Employees Provident Fund Act. From out of the employer's share, employers contribute, employees contribute. From employer share, 8.33%. That was diverted towards a pension fund. Then Government of India was also mandated to contribute 1.16% of the employees' wages and allowances towards a pension fund. So together with this, it was 9.49% earmarked for pension. But pension on what? Not on the full salary. As per Employees Provident Fund Act, there is a ceiling. When the pension scheme came, it was 5,000 rupees. That was in force till 8th October 2001. After 8th October 2001, that was enhanced to 6,500 rupees. Then 15,000 rupees from 1st September of 2014. So on the maximum permissible amount, that is the ceiling set by the government mandatorily, the employers and employees are supposed to pay as per Employees Provident Fund Act. Is a ceiling for that, whatever the salary. Somebody drawing up to 5,000 rupees, that was the limit when the scheme, employees pension scheme came into force. In 1995 it was 5,000. That 5,000 limit was there till 2001, 8th October. After that it was enhanced to 6,500 and subsequently from 1st September 2014 it is raised to 15,000. What does this mean? If it is 5,000, someone drawing up to 5,000, that is full salary, alright. But those who are drawing above 5,000, the salary is taken as 5,000. And also the pensionable salary is also taken as 5,000. When it is raised to 6,500, the pensionable salary is raised 6,500 from that date. And the calculation for the previous years is on a pro rata basis. Not getting too much into the method of calculating this, enough if you know that the pensionable salary is the ceiling set by the government. The ceiling statutorily set, either 5,000 or 6,500 or 15,000 rupees. That is the ceiling, pensionable salary. How is pension worked out as per the scheme? Pensionable salary, pensionable service. Somebody joining in 1995, say retiring in 2025, it works out to some 30 years. 30 years is the pensionable service. And this pensionable service is multiplied by pensionable salary, that is the ceiling amount, then that is divided by 70. That is the amount of pension one gets. And what is that people got so far is what we told in the beginning, that 1,000 rupees or 1,500 or 2,500, not much. That is the pension formula. Yes, after some time, that was in 1996, 16th March 96, there was a change. The government allowed deductions on salaries above the ceiling, even the actual salary. When the pension also is calculated on the salary on which employees' provident fund is collected. But still, whatever that goes to the pension fund is the employer's share of 8.33%, and they increased salary also. So on 16th March 1996, although government allowed, it did not say about any cut-off date, but later they have taken a stand that they should exercise an option. The option should be exercised by the employer and employee. What is expected is, employer is expected to pay on wages above the statutory ceiling. But can we in general expect the employers to pay more than what they are required under the statute? Doubtful. We do not have enough data to show how many of the employers have come forward. But the number of pensioners getting so little is some evidences that for the obvious reasons the employers have not been coming forward in a large and significant numbers to help the employees to contribute on higher salaries and facilitate them higher pension. As things stand thus, as I said in the beginning, from 2014, exactly 22 August 2014, the ceiling was enhanced to 15,000 rupees. While bringing in this, 3 other changes were also brought in, that the employees and the employers were allowed to opt for higher contributions and higher pension. They should give their option, which means they should pay on higher amount and they should give option. Because of the facility that was given in 1996, but again another option was required after the ceiling raised to 15,000 rupees. And then that time the condition was the option should be exercised by the employees and the employees together, joint option, within 6 months from 1st September 2014. If for any reason, valid reason, if they couldn't gave their option, another 6 months time was given. The regional provident fund commissioners were authorized to give permission to extend by another 6 months, which means for any reason the option should be exercised within 1 year. 6 months originally and 6 months extended time with valid reasons. If the employees or employers do not utilize this opportunity, although they paid on full wages, it was constituted that they were not interested in getting full pension on their full salary, in other words. That was the rule. Then a couple of other changes were also brought in with this 15,000 hike in the statutory ceiling. The method of computation of pension, the computation methodology. Earlier it was the pension salary, whatever the amount, ceiling amount or higher amount, average of 12 months. Supposing somebody before retirement, during that last 12 months, say got 12,000 rupees, it is to be divided by 12 and the average is 1,000 rupees. So instead of 12 months, the new regulation prescribed it to 60 months, 5 years salary, 5 years average monthly, 60 months average. That was another stipulation. Then another thing which was more worrisome than all these was, the employees were also required to contribute 1.16% for the pension fund, not employers. But as per the statute, it was the employer's share to be transferred. Now employees were also required to the extent of 1.16% over and above 15,000 rupees ceiling, if they opt for higher contributions to the employees' provident fund and thereby to the pension. So pension fund 1.16% from employees, besides 8.33% from employer. Then people naturally aggrieved, went to courts, Kerala High Court, Rajasthan High Court, Delhi High Court, and finally they went to Supreme Court, 2 judges bench, and finally the 3 judges bench in appeal. 54 writ petitions were also filed from employees' side. What did broadly Supreme Court judgment say? Although Supreme Court found that notification GSR 609E 22nd August 2014 enhancing 15,000 limit and with other conditions was not illegal, the court found that seeking 1.16% from out of employees' share or employees' contribution to the pension was illegal, because the EPF Act 1952 does not provide for contribution from employees for the pension fund. It should come from employers. So that was found to be illegal. So the court said you cannot collect from employees, but to run the scheme you may as a stopgap until you make changes, administrative or in the legal framework, make it lawful, can collect from the employees, but to be adjusted after the necessary changes being brought in the enactment or in the administrative, legal and lawful measures without offending the Employees Provident Fund Act. That is one thing what Supreme Court said. Or if they do not bring any changes within the time that is stipulated by the Supreme Court, the scheme has to be run from out of the existing fund, not from the collection from the employees. You may collect from the employer, there is no ban on that in the EPF Act 1952. That is one thing we can understand from the Supreme Court judgment. Then the calculation methodology, the Supreme Court did not find any fault because government has powers to decide how to calculate it. Instead of 12 months going for 60 months average, it was not found to be wrong. Then coming to the option, there was a lot of confusion. Then Supreme Court said, okay, employees who exercised option under the old scheme 11.3 of the EPS 1995 and continued on September 2014 will be guided by amended provision, that is 11.4, which means those who gave option earlier under the earlier scheme and were enjoying that benefit are entitled for further option to come under the new provisions and to get pension on the salaries above their 15,000 ceiling. But those who retired before September 2014, now they can't claim to come under the new scheme. These are the main observations. Those who are entitled, who did not give their option, the employees and employers together due to this confusion or difficulty in interpretation, can now give. The Supreme Court has permitted them to give option now. The employers and employees can give option now within 4 months from the judgment date. From 4 November 2022, within 4 months they can now give if they are entitled for this under the scheme. And also the Supreme Court said whatever the benefit that is allowable to the regular establishments is allowable to the exempted establishments also. So finally, as the employees pension scheme stands today with all these amendments, the higher pension is allowable to only those who pay higher contribution, not only the employees but the employers. That we can understand, employers unless mandated are unlikely to come in large numbers. And finally we can say that the pension amount out of employees provident fund is not really satisfactory. So we can say that most of the employees covered under employees provident fund scheme are not going to benefit much, not going to get pension equal to what the government employees got under the old pension scheme. Thank you for watching. May I again request you to subscribe to this channel if you have not done it already. Please also click, after clicking the subscribe button, the bell icon to get the notifications as and when I upload a fresh video to this channel. Thank you.